Join us as we travel back in time to witness the incredible world of Stegosaurus, the most famous dinosaur of the Jurassic.
But before we begin, if you like this figure in this video, head over to Show.Z Store where I got it from, and use code Deemer in the Support Your Favorite Reviewer box. It sure would help me out, and I very much appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to Deemer's Dominion. I am again, as always, your host Deemer, and today we are taking a look at Cang-Toys TransAge line Stegsarow, which is their version of Snarl, and this is their hero class version, which is smaller than their former version, which was quite large, and this is more along the line of a generations or chug scale in comparison to the official versions. Now, Cang-Toys is known for their highly stylized designs, which doesn't jibe well with everybody, but that's fine. I dig it. I actually have grown to love the stylization of Cang-Toys' figures, and as you can see, here are some pictures on the boxes of what the figure looks like, and it shows you the three forms basically: the robot form, the Dinobot form, and what would be the leg form there. And here's just some informational details. This is for 15 years of age and older. Some more of the pictures of representations here. I am pretty excited for this. I do have all the other ones for their larger scale ones. I've not opened them yet, in fairness, and we will do that at one point in time, just not today. And we are going to get into it as we usually do. I'm really excited. And forgive my voice, I have been a little bit under the weather. I am recovering, but all is well. I have really been waiting to get into this actually. I am excited for it. So let's do what we do and start the unboxing process. And there is a little box in this box. We'll see that here in a moment. We have, as always, the instructions and a little ID card in there. And the instructions have been known to be not the best. And this is what the first layer of the cake of his freeze-dried prison looks like. The accessories, weapons, and the bot. And here we have a better picture, better view. And let's take him out, shall we? Or, you know, they can jump out themselves, that's fine. Here is one of the blades. That is really nicely designed here. It's got that metallic paint to it. That's a beautiful red. There are, of course, two of them, larger and smaller. Here we have the back tail part, also in a very nice metallic paint. The tip of the spear here, nicely done as well. And we'll gently take our bot out so that we can see him better. And he is very nice looking, very nicely painted, beautiful details on this guy. Okay, and here we have everything that was in the box laid out. Here we have his ID card, which is a nice thick plastic. It's got Stegsarow name there. Pretty nice. Once again, we have the blades, which are multifunctional. We'll see in a little bit what we can do with them. And the tip here. And another multifunctional part here, which we will also see in a little bit, the different things we can do with this. And this box. and don't know what's in this box yet, but we will go ahead and open it. Okay, so I just cut that seal, and this feels a bit blockies-ish, if I do say so. Alright, and let us see what we have here. A minifigure, it looks like. Oh, it is quite blockies-ish, isn't it? Oh, that's really cute. We've got this little Chibi style Slag over here, Breakhorn as they call him. Oh, this is cute. Okay, love this. Can't wait to get to this part. And here is his little ID card. So cute. There you go. I don't know about you guys, I'm starting to fall a little bit in love with this Chibi style stuff. And we'll come back to this later, but that was a nice surprise. Let's get back to our main character today and take a look at his articulation, his bendies and twisties as we call them in the Dominion. Let's see his head here, if I can get a good grasp. Looks like there's a ball, and up, down, complete articulation, left, right. You can look up that far and down pretty well. He can turn his head only that far, and it's blocked by those sides there. It's pretty taut, so limited as far as turning, but otherwise we've got decent articulation there. Okay, arms. We can go up that high and rotate, and we have, is that a double? Can we get a double? Don't want to break it, but we definitely have that 90-degree there. Elbow joint. We have a twist at the bicep, a twist at the wrist, squeakiness, and okay. No articulation for the thumb, even though it looks like there's a little hinge there. And these fingers open and close together, even though it looks like there could be a separation. Maybe mine's just really tight. So it looks like you can get at least the first few to separate, but they all seem to be stuck together on that pin there. Okay, so it does bend a little backwards, which is a little weird, probably for articulation. I'm sorry, transformation. And pull it down a little bit, it seems like, to get a better bend there. Okay, all right, so we do have a waist swivel, which is hindered by this backpack, but he can very tightly. Okay, so we do have some good mobility there. Bring that back down. No ab crunch. Got hip skirts galore, which seem to be on a ball joint, big ball joint there, which is nice. So you can kick out that far, do the splits, and kick up that high. Get that out of the way. And we do have a twist at the upper thigh. Very tight joint there, but we have 90 degrees there. Okay. And we do have ankle rocker and really good toe and heel support. Okay, so pretty articulated, pretty well articulated figure here. Everything is nice and tight, so do be careful. Okay, so the first thing according to the manual is to put his backpack on. So we're going to work with this and see what the first option of doing is, and I believe it is to attach it to the back here. So it says to rotate this 90 degrees, I'm guessing like that, and bring this here and pop it in. There we go. Oh, maybe not. There we go. Or maybe not. Third time a charm. Okay, so as best as I could do, this doesn't actually, for me, pop in there or snap in there, just kind of like sits in there, and then just fold it over. When you fold it over into these slots, they sit in on either side. It sits pretty sturdy. So at this point in time, I'm going to give it a slight pass, as long as there's no function to that ball joint otherwise, because that would be a shame if there was going to be a function to it and didn't end up working that way. So as you can see now, he does look much more menacing there. That is that part, and then it says open his palms. So we'll go to this next part. Alright, and then we're going to put one of his weapons in there. And that slides in quite nicely. And very, very stable figure. Wow, okay. Alright, so that makes up a bit for it. That makes up a bit. And we're going to do the same thing with the other one here. And as you can see, there's already a hole there, so just do that and then wrap it closed around like that. Wrap that closed. That's pretty sturdy. And we've got a pretty rockin' looking dude there. Okay, Stegsarow. Okay, you're making up for some stuff. We appreciate that. And then we are going to add this guy to the top, up here. And that goes in pretty easily. What do you guys think now? I think he looks ridiculously cool. I mean, that is just, for as stylized as he is, he looks really clean. Really clean. And look at that. Super sturdy. Super sturdy. I'm impressed. He's not a heavy figure per se. Like, I know that says there's die cast and stuff, and I'm guessing that's more on the skeleton joints and parts and stuff like that. There's definitely, I can see the metals in there. But it's not to add weight, it's just pure function, which I totally get because it works. It keeps it not overbearingly heavy, but very functional, very crisp. And my goodness, he looks amazing. He feels great. He's very solid, very sturdy. These are sharp-ish. I can see why they don't want young kids playing with it. These can articulate. That's pretty neat. So you do have some articulation on these as well. And even here. So that's pretty neat. I kind of do like that aggressive, upright. It looks more menacing, kind of like when a poisonous insect is about to attack, or an animal, right? That's getting aggressive. Everything goes up high to make itself as big as possible. I dig it. All right, so phase 2 is basically take this off, put this back, rotate these 180 degrees so that they're facing downwards. So it's like this, and then in this socket here. So indeed it is saying that this does go into the slot. So let us give that a good faith effort here. And it does. And wow, okay. It's like a bow and arrow at this point. kind of thing. Let's take his sword out so we're not confusing, even though it still works pretty nicely. Okay. Okay, wow. What do y'all think? Because that looks pretty cool. Like he's gonna draw his arrow. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Okay, and we also have another configuration for him. And here is another formation that we have for him, which is amazing what they're doing as far as creativity with the weaponization of the parts that are available to us through just his body, actually. You know, the tail part here becomes an extension of another weapon, kind of like a metallic whip arm claw thing. That is really, really neat. And just adds more fun and playability to the character. This is why I'm saying, like, I love how Cang-Toys really just thinks through the different stylization and utilization of the pieces that are included. This is brilliant, honestly, in my opinion, that they've included so much. That they've included so much as far as the creative process to give this figure, at least specifically, as much playability and creative amplification of what's available to the playability of this product, to this figure, to this toy. And he really does look good. Honestly, truly, he really looks good. So far, I'm really, really enjoying everything about this figure. Let's hope it continues throughout the rest of this process, transformation, etc. Okay, cool. So let's go into yet another form that's available to us, and that is basically to unmount this and set it back to its original designation by putting this back on his back. And once again, this didn't snap in for me, so it's more of just slip it in and rest it. So now that we've got him back, what we're going to do basically is put these two swords together. And as you can see, there is the tab and the slot, and they just go in like this, and then they just form a much bigger blade weapon here, and then that'll just slot in. And for me, this is kind of cool. I don't know if any of you guys play video games, but I'm a big long time since the OG Final Fantasy series, and this kind of looks like it belongs into the Final Fantasy series weapons. That's cool though. I really dig that. That is fun. I've loved so far everything they've given us as far as the bot mode goes. The style, the colors are great. The articulation is pretty good, I would say. Everything is nice and tight, but playable. Nothing has broken for me yet. Everything has come together really well. The options that they've given us have been really fun. Really cool options. And I'm not disappointed by any stretch of the imagination here, because playability, I'm down with. Options, definitely down with. Design, very cool. Definitely down with. I know not everybody's gonna like the stylization, but you know what? Just like in my last video, keep an open mind. You know, you'd be surprised sometimes where we go outside of our comfort zones and our boxes, the kinds of things we end up liking and getting into. So again, you're talking to somebody who used to be very purist, very set in his ways, but time does change a man. Time changes a man, and I'm happy. This is hella cool. Okay, so now that we've done the bot mode, let us get into transforming him into his Dino mode. Okay, and before we get into the transformation, let's not forget one key thing here. Let us do our measurements here. Let's back this baby up a little bit. I mean, from tip to toe, we're talking almost 11 inches here. From the very tips to the head is about 7.5, maybe 7 1/4. somewhere there about 7-ish. But that's in his A stance. Let's get him standing upright a bit better. So yeah, to the head is about 7 1/4, and then to the tip is around 11 1/4, 11 1/2 in this stance. Not an insanely wide figure here, but there you go. Let's get our official scale here, the official Deemer's Dominion scale. Everything teared up, and here we have 10.7 ounces on the scale. Okay, so we're going to try this as best as we can, and I'm just going to follow the instruction guide as best as I can anyway.
Drop that beat. ARM in the building. Autobots rise up, yeah. Roll out, yeah. Megatron bark loud, but his bite ain't still. Talking war stories, but we know we ain't real. Decepticons fold when we step in the zone. Optimus with the mic, turn his throne to a tombstone. Ultra Magnus with the bass line, heavy like a tank. Blaster spitting acapellas, breaking up his ranks. Cybertron streets, yeah, they know who the kings. We bring the energon heat, no tricks, no strings. Prime on the front lines, leader with the wordplay. Megatron shaking his regime on his last day. You say fuck the Autobots, nah, fuck your crew and your punk ass plans, cause you fall overdue. Megatron must fall, hear the war drums call. Decepticons crumble when the Autobots brawl. Roll out, rise up, be the voice of the free. ARMO are taking over, no surrender, no plea. Jazz on the decks, scratching through the battle fog. We hit 'em with the beats, Decepticons in the slog. Ultra bring the thunder, drop a baseline bomb. Blaster spit the verses, turn the war into a song. Yes, yo, in my head tap. Oh, da da dun dun. Yo, in my head tap. Yes, yo, in my head one. Oh, da da dun dun dun. Yo, it's Prime on the mic, call me the rhyme savior. Matrix of leadership, my voice cuts like a razor. Rolling through Cybertron, my team stays tight. While Decepticons fumble, we ignite the fight. Jazz on the scratch beats, heavy like Energon. Dropping knowledge bombs, so you better hold on. Blaster with the boom, Ultra Magnus on the low. Steel drums hit like punches from a robo throw. Decepticons scheming, they don't know the code. Till all I want, that's the Autobots mode. Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Watch us shift gears, we're the lyrical kings. Make some mic control, Autobots roll. Words hit harder than Megatron's go. From Cybertron streets to Earth, some soul till all I want. Yeah, we take control. Matrix of mic control, Autobots roll. Decepticons crumble when we patrol. Reggae rhythm mixed with that boom bap gold till all I want. Yeah, the story's told. Megatron lurking, but his schemes fall flat. Starscream whining, man, they all can't rap. We keep it moving, no, and the gun drought. Battle tested bars, yeah, we're knocking them out. Best up from my head out. Oh, da da dan dan, move my head out. Best up from my head out. Oh, da da dan dan, move. That's up from my head out. Oh, da da dan dan, move my head out. That's up from my head out. Oh, da da dan dan, move.
A galaxy spinning like a top. Lights flash, they never stop.
Okay, so basically after we just pop that back in, this just slides up. This locks in here. There's two tabs, one on each side here. That folds in, and that tabs in, and this comes down like this. So you do have basically articulation here, which is nice, up and down, no left and right, and articulation here, up and down, which is pretty great. So you have 2 points of articulation in the tail, and this is all tabbed in nice. And then basically these just slide in this way and slides in this way. So you've got that kind of motion, that kind of motion, all around, left and right, up and down. You have a 360, double ball peg, 1, 2. So you have lots of flexibility, and mouth does open nice and wide. So that's pretty cool. And there is teeth that are sharp. So pretty cool. Be careful. And then you do have articulation here and here. Ball joints, so you have all kinds of flexibility. Up, down, right, and left. Here you also have some in and out. Same with the back legs. Very flexible. And they do go 360 as well. So lots of articulation, even in the Dinobot mode.
Galactic forces clash and play. Retro beats light up.
Okay, so once again, he does feel great. When everything is tabbed in and in place, you know, you do get articulation at the scales here as well. So that's pretty nifty. Basically, each one of these has a hinge joint here. There's one there. These have a hinge joint as well. There's another hinge here and the hinge here. So all kinds of hingification, if you will. So the price with this kind of stylization, of course, is the inevitable gaps, and that could fall into, you know, the aesthetic of like this butt gap here, kind of weird. These gaps in the back here, kind of weird. You know, this break here in the center, a little bit weird. But I mean, it also fits with the aesthetic of the stylization. That's a little weird, right? But I mean, the underside is all kinds of weirdness too. So the price you pay for stylization sometimes is these kinds of effects, but overall in the style itself, you can see that it does still work well. It still plays into the stylization design of the figure, even in this mode. So now with that, we still have one more mode to go, and that is for the combination mode, and we will get to that here in one moment. So before that, just one last look at these beautiful details. You can see the face has a beautiful paint job. Those eyes are great. Again, all this beautiful attention to detail. Great paint job. All the subtleties and the details. I mean, the stylization does play nice. Paint job is excellent. Again, beautiful details. How these even fold up on each other when you do articulate them. Very neat. Very neat. Okay, so now to get him into combo mode.
Golden swords and sabers that gleam. Circuits hum with an endless dream. Villains crumble, torn at the seam. Hope is brighter than it may seem. Galaxies roar, the echoes cry. Light and shadow cannot lie. Heroes rise, the cosmos bears. Galactic heroes we defend. From Cybertron to Eternia's mind, through hyperspace, into the
Crime steps heavy, my treads break the ground. Steel toe stomp and make a thunderous sound. Decepticon shadows, they scatter and flee, but we stand unshaken, Autobots roll free. Armor plated fate, got the matrix in my chest. Freedom's the battle, and we only take the best. Ultra Magnus on the bass, thumping like a tank. Blast the acapella, making Megatron crank. Roll out, rise up, Autobots unite. We light the darkest hour, we bring the fight. From Cybertron streets to the Milky Way skies. Roll out, rise up, let the fire ignite. Roll out, rise up, Autobots unite. We light the darkest hour, we bring the fight. From Cybertron streets to the Milky Way skies.
Okay, so actually let's untab this real quick. And then this gets tabbed in there. So we have to make sure that we can bring everything close to that tab there. Okay, so I do want to bring your attention to something important, that when you are working to get these tabs in, all your alignments have to be on point beforehand, otherwise it will not reach and align and tab properly. I did want to bring that to attention because I did struggle a little bit to make sure that everything was in order to get that tabbed in. Alright, so now we will continue. So we are going to just begin from this position and use this as our tab source and align everything as if we had been already in the game. Okay, so we have to be careful with the tolerances here when we fold this over and then this over, and then there's a tab here that has to float into the socket here, and then punch that in and slide that down so that we have something like this.
To a tombstone, Ultra Magnus with the baseline, heavy like a tank, blaster spitting acapellas, breaking up his ranks. Cybertron streets, yeah, they know who the kings. We bring the energy on heat, no tricks, no strings.
So that is basically what we have as far as Cang-Toys, TransAge, Stegsarow. We've seen all three forms here. I cannot wait to get the rest of this. And this is again the hero class. It is a great overall. I've had pretty great experience with this figure. I do love the aesthetics. I love the inclusions. I have only one real problem, and I guess it's not really a big problem, but it's a nitpick that shouldn't happen. And it is that ball peg that, as you've seen throughout the video for this back part here, that has been a problem just continuing to come off. And other than that, I think it is a great looking figure. It feels great. It plays great. It has a lot of different options to play. The different robot options that you can do with his tail, for instance, whether have it on his back or his arm. The gimmicks with the swords were really pretty fun and cool as well. The posability also fun and great. Lots of options, lots of fun. And I think there is probably a big difference as far as how much tolerance and issues you have with the hero class so far versus the larger class from, everything that I've seen and heard. And as I get to mine, I'll obviously deal with my own possible grievances and my experiences to move forward with my own opinions on those. But for the hero class, Stegsarow, I think he's a great buy. And if I can figure out the issue for this ball joint, even better. Not a huge ordeal. It's not a deal breaker for me personally, but I do wish that it would just stay in its socket like it's supposed to. Other than that, do I recommend it? If it's again, something in your budget and you do like aesthetics, or you're willing to try an aesthetic, I think this is a definite buy. For me, at least, for my collection, again, I do like the risque kind of designs. I do like when companies take greater liberties to give us different options, and I love, love, love when they give us options within the figure itself, like we've seen in the different robot configurations as far as the different weaponry and styles we can use. I wish, however, it would have carried on to the dinosaur mode. I do, that we could have weaponized him in some way, shape, or form that would have come out cool. Other than that, all we have left is the little box for Slag, and we will build that next. Okay guys, let us build us the little included Chibi Slag here. This should be fun. Pretty excited about it. Once again, here are the instructions, and the cool thing, looks like it does actually transform, so that's a bonus. I wasn't expecting that when I first looked at the instructions here. So let's get to it, shall we? And bag 2.
Transform the stage, freedom's the war. Our words the gauge, no John bribes, no tricks, no traps. Autobots rap with unbreakable caps.
There he is in his bot mode. He looks pretty cute. He looks pretty nice. Okay, and here he is in little Dino mode, and all kinds of articulation here. The mouth we saw earlier, and open and close. Head can go all the way up and down, and left and right. Arms out, 360, same bending, same everything else we saw earlier. This is on a ball joint, which is tight, but can go all the directions, lots of flexibility there. Same thing with the hind legs, in and out, up and down, left and right, all the way around. So lots of articulation for such a small, simple figure. And then the tail, this is the sword, it just plops into his booty hole in here. Not much articulation. You can twist it around, but that's about it. And he does have his waist swivel still retains, and the in and out movement there. So looks a little cute. Kind of looks like what is it? What was his name from the Ghostbusters movie? Was it Dozer? Kind of has got that kind of vibe to it. It's kind of cool. Always loved that guy. So there you have him. It's like his little pet. Kind of cute. I think at this point we all know what time it is. Time for our obligatory comparisons. So we are going to clear some of this stuff out and be right back. Alright, so what figure should we pull out? Let us see, for instance. Y'all remember this guy? This review we did not too long ago. So you can see the scale here. Okay, you can see the difference between the two types of scales here. So that's one scale for you. What about a Legends scale combiner? What about Broody over here? What about Bruticus? Pretty sizable difference there. What about our last combiner that we just did? What about Volcanicus here? Well, this is interesting. This is quite interesting, actually, because Lasercat Volcanicus is roughly the same height as Stegsarow. That's pretty fun. I really didn't see that one coming. That's pretty cool. Okay, interesting. That's been interesting. Let's bring the little puppy dog out here. Okay, something a little more. You know what we gotta do? We gotta bring MP. Gotta do our MP scale. Gotta do our classics. MP44 towers over him. So that's MP44. Another classic we gotta do, just because y'all know I love him so much. Earthrise. That actually makes a fun scale between these two. Okay. That's pretty creative. That's pretty fun. I don't mind that. Oh, what about this guy? What about this guy? One of our also most recent reviews. Iron Factory Ultra Magnus. This guy's still taller than this guy. Remember, these are legend scale here. And he's more chug scale. Have to do our Voyager class. One of my loves here. He scales pretty well with this. What do you guys think? I think he scales pretty good with 40th Anniversary Voyager class Nemesis Prime. It's actually not too bad of a scale. What do you guys think of that? That's a hot mess of a scenario here. All kinds of everything going on, but I like it. We do have one more surprise here. One more thing that I wasn't personally expecting. Not at all, in fairness. This guy apparently also will end up being a combiner, and he has a combine mode. So, did anybody else know about this? Because I'm a bit surprised as I'm looking at the instructions, and I see that he goes into what looks like a combine mode. So, that is going to be his combiner form. So we have the, looks like this is what's going to end up being our connector. That's going to be pretty neat. So there it is. That was a surprise to me, guys. I didn't know this was going to happen. I really had no clue. Okay. So there you have it, everybody. Okay, so one other thing. Remember the ball joint I was having about the back of Stegsarow for the tail part here that connects? I ended up finally, off camera, being able to snap that in a little bit, and it is in there now. So that worked out well. I don't know what changed, but he is together. So I am very happy about that because that was my sore point for the most part. Above and beyond that, that still is, those two ball joints are still my only, struggles with that. Other than that, excellent. I am starting on this little guy to see a little paint starting to rub off here on the sword. So guys, be careful about at least this little guy. I haven't seen any paint chipping or flaking or rubbing off on anything else yet. So just a word to the wise, throwing caution into the wind. Just be careful, I guess, anything that might be painted that is going in and out of things. And so far, really, it's just the sword here. But if that's rubbing off, I would say, just be careful of if you end up, at least the gold parts that are painted, maybe even the red. Yeah, it's the gold here that was in the sword. That's rubbing off a little bit. And that is really my only two issues, it seems like, that I've had. One is resolved with the ball joints. Just do be careful with yours. Everything else is nice and tight. Anything with a ball joint that pops off easily pops back on. And, this guy was a nice surprise. I really love the fact not only did they include another figure, a figure that transforms that you build together, and he's going to be a mini Volcanicus. So how cool is that? I genuinely had no clue. I'm very surprised. His scale is fun, being a Chug figure. I don't know what the hate is about Chug out there, guys. I don't know, maybe somebody can tell me what the hate is for the Chug scale, because I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, scales are scales. You collect what you collect, whether it's a certain scale or different scales. I collect different scales. I enjoy them, so I have no issues with the scale. I think the Chug scale works out perfectly well as intended. He is more Voyager class size, I think, than anything, and fits in really well. He is very solid. His aesthetic is very cool in my book. I know that's another hate that a lot of people seem to have, is the stylization of Cang-Toys' figures, but I dig it. I really dig it. I love the paint. I love the colors. The, posability is all there, especially for his given class, his given size, his given intricacies, being as stylized as he is. Thankfully, I've had no breakages, and that's it. Those, only those couple nitpicks. Other than that, I actually ended up liking him a lot more than I thought I would. And I'm so glad that nothing is broken, nothing is not working as intended. Bravo. Bravo, Cang-Toys. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts. You guys have any questions? Did I miss something? Did I not do something correctly? Let me know, please. Also, give me your thoughts once again on this guy, on this set. Are you guys getting him? Do you have him? Do you have a difference of opinion than I do, which is cool? You know, that's the beauty of life, is you're allowed to have different opinions on things. So, once again, guys, I am Deemer. That's my wrap. Happy holidays to everybody. Peace out.